Hey there, physics class. Let's start talking about error percentage, why we use it, what it's going to be used for, and kind of the formula. So let's just go with the formula first. Let's write it out here. I'll try and make it nice and big. All right, so we have, this is the big E is just saying error, and that's percentage-wise. So we're trying to find the actual error percentage. In here we have M minus A over A equals something, and then you times it by 100 to actually get the percentage. It'll give you a decimal first, times it by 100, and you'll be finding it the percentage. So what do these two letters basically, I know there's three, but only M and A in here. M is basically like the guess or estimation. And it can also be average guess, okay? So let's say you tried to, like 3 or 4 people guess something, or you tried to actually figure something out and you did it 2 or 3 times. It could be the average of those as well, okay? The A here is the actual accurate. It is the accurate value. So whether you actually then measured it perfectly, or it could be a density of something you're doing in chemistry. So maybe you're trying to figure out the density of some kind of liquid, or the boiling point, and the textbook tells you it's this, and in the class it's something else, like you're trying to test to get that boiling point. But the A is actually your accurate value, okay? So that's how you're going to do this. So again, an example that we used in kind of our live classes was Mr. Westwood throwing a ball. So I'm going to just kind of do something right down here, answering the question. So again, if Mr. Westwood actually throws the ball, so I have to throw the ball. If I throw the ball and then I guess how far away from it is from me. So let's take a guess. I guess it's 8 meters away. So my guess was 8 meters. All right. Then I actually take my meter sticks. I measure it out. It was actually 9.2. So it actually went, my accurate value when I finally measured it was 9.2 meters. Okay, let's actually go through this equation. Last thing I forgot to mention, these two lines, that means there's an absolute value. What does an absolute value mean? It means that anything that is in between these straight brackets, okay, I know brackets are usually curved, but anything that's in between these straight, very straight lines, means that anything that comes out of there is going to be positive. Okay, because we don't really care. Here's your guess, here's the accurate. I don't care whether it's positive or negative. I just want to know how much I missed by. So my guess here, I just want to know how much I was off by. And I still want a positive value at the end, because I don't really want a negative percentage. That doesn't really help me at all. So I just want to know how much we missed by, or how much did your estimation was off by. Okay, so that's why I always want a positive value. So here, if I go my M minus A over A, I'm going to go H minus 9.2 over 9.2. Okay? Which means I'm going to get 1.2. 1.2 over 9.2. I missed by 1.2. Again, technically, if you go 8 minus 9.2, you get negative 1.2. I don't care. This is an absolute value. That's what that means. It means I get a 1.2 there. Okay? Then I'm actually going to go 1.2 divided by 9.2. So on my calculator, I go 1.2 divided by 9.2. That gives me a decimal, and I'll write it right up here, of 0.13. You times that by 100, and you'll get 13%. So your actual answer for that question will be 13%. Okay, so that's how you kind of use this. All right, I'm going to erase this. So you can always kind of backtrack and go back to this, where it gives you what's called the absolute error, okay? And what that means is how you find just the absolute error, because this is the absolute percentage we were looking at. Absolute error. Absolute error is just your M minus A as an absolute value. So basically, it's absolute error just means like how far were you off? How much were you off by? Okay, so that's the other kind of thing. On some questions, it'll say please just find the absolute error for this. If they're looking for just the absolute error, if they're not looking for the actual percentage, then all you have to do is just take your M, which is your guess, your estimation, minus from the actual accurate, and then just, again, make sure it's an absolute value. Just make sure it's positive, and that's what the absolute error is, okay? Because in the next video, I'm going to be doing 2 questions, maybe 3, but in one of them for sure, instead of having a guess and an accurate, I'm just going to give you the absolute error, okay? And that will be important because then we don't have an M. You're going to say, where's that M? We don't need the M because we actually already have this absolute error. We can kind of just plug it in for the top thing, okay? Because this is the top value of like that percentage error formula. If we already have that top part, we don't technically need to guess for the M. Okay, awesome. Thanks, class. There's the start of error percentage, how to use it. And we got one more video for this week, basically kind of going through 2 or 3 questions of how to do this one. Thanks, class.